Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, so good to share energy with you. Come in. Thank you for inviting me in. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about Simone Biles and the ultimate Karen. Oh, my God. This is a tale of people that throw rocks and then want to hide their hands and then want to act as though you are accosting them. This might be triggering because there are themes to me of race that are here, and I'm going to talk about that. But even if it's not racial for you, this is something you may have experienced too, so stick around and see if it is relevant for you. Simone Biles recently posted something where she said, something like lazy, underachieving, not hardworking gold medalist or something. I don't know, something to that degree. And it was a response to someone who had a week or two before an old teammate of hers that didn't qualify and isn't at the Olympics, who decided to opine about the Olympic team that was there. Ironic. Chris Brown has a song, and in it, one of the refrains is "Look at me now," and one of the refrains, oh, that's so appropriate. Look at me now, I'm getting paper. Yeah, it's him with Busta Rhymes. It's this iconic song, but he says, you're outside the club. How are you hating from outside the club? You can't even get in. This girl wasn't at the Olympics, like Simone and like the other, and Cunningly Lee and everybody else that actually won gold medals and actually represented their country gracefully, beautifully, powerfully. But she was at home. She was a Caucasian woman, and she was at home, and she was talking shit about what those amazing Olympians were doing and actually did. She was talking shit before the Olympics happened. Colloquially, what that's called is writing a check that her ass couldn't cash. So she attacks essentially and is talking about how they're not as hardworking. I think she was like, with the exception of Simone, whatever, but Simone stuck up for her teammates because she is loyal, something that girl, I won't even say her name, can't even understand. But what happened was a backlash so swift after Simone posted, after she won. First, do the work, guys. That's a lesson here for all of us empaths. You don't have to fight someone outwardly. Do the work and show up with yourself first fully, and then let your work speak for you, because people will always underestimate you and talk about you and imagine the things that you can't do and hope for the worst for you. And when they're doing that, they are speaking word curses over you. Spells are that. People think it's incantations and jars and cauldrons. No, spells are people talking shit. It's gossip. It's people that are hoping that you're not successful. Well, it turns out Simone and the team were incredibly successful. So now this girl turns into the ultimate Karen. And what she does is she starts to act as though, because people start saying, like, social media will do what it will literally cannibalize you, and so everyone starts talking about her, and people are making unfortunate death threats. I don't think that's ever necessary, but people are really angry and upset. Let's say that they're more moderate forms of the anger. Let's say they were upset because they're like, you're talking about these Olympian girls that just won gold. It looks like their work ethic is working, and you're sitting at home talking. So to make it make sense, the math isn't mathing. Well, then she's acting as though she was the one who was attacked. She initiated it. She launched out verbally and did exactly what she wanted to because she was feeling salty. People will let their jealousies and their insecurities really, really get them in a lot of trouble. And so she is in trouble now energetically because the world kind of turned on her, especially after Simone and the team proved that they were those girls. They were her. Exactly. So, and not her sitting at home at her kitchen table talking about something. And so then she, reached out to Simone and was like, can you please, stop the hate, and can you stop it, and can you reverse it? Simone hasn't said a word, as she shouldn't. It's above her now. That girl was talking when those girls were nervous. People want to get into your head before you have your big wow, your moment, right? Before you are about to own it, before you're trying to not lose yourself, before you're a ball of nerves. Years of therapy had gone gone into that for Simone specifically, who talked about that openly, God bless her, in order to get her head together after she left the Tokyo Olympics, right? She had the twisty, she had to pull out, everybody was talking shit, you're a quitter. No. She's a person who assessed she was in over her head, empath, we could all learn a lesson from that, and decided I might need to sit this one out instead of overdoing and pushing herself to injury. Simone Biles came back and won beautifully, as she always does, but she did it because she knew when enough was enough for herself. That's a big lesson for us. She knew when to pull back and when she needed to sit down and when she needed to do some mental health. A lot of these people that are projecting their jealousies and insecurities on you could do some mental health too. They might need a therapist. While they're always advising everybody else for therapy, they might want to sit in some therapy for them, especially this girl, whatever her name is. We're going to just call her Karen and Becky. Karen and Becky were doing the absolute most. They were wiling. They were absolutely not paying attention to Karen/Becky. She was not paying attention to what her reality was. You're sitting at your kitchen table, you didn't qualify. They're flying to Paris, and they're about to actually fly through the air to gold. Going for the gold, USA. This is a lesson for any of you guys who have had someone who has actually attacked you and then wanted you to absolve them of their sin. This happens often, and this is why I said I'm going to talk about it from a racial perspective. Everything is not about race, but if you live in the skin that I'm in, you've experienced these days, especially in corporate America. There is a phenomenon that happens when you're working with Caucasian women, not all, not everyone, but Caucasian women and Black women, and the way that we express ourselves and our passion has always been seen as aggressive, and that has ties back to slavery, not being able to actually express ourselves in any manner, having to be separate to have expression. Do you know that the term a barrel of laughter, we've all heard that, right? What does that even mean? I'm going to tell you what it means, and this is on the positive side. It's not positive, but it's a little, well, I don't know what to say. I need you to understand it so that contextually it's going to make sense what I'm saying next. A barrel of laughter is back in the day, back in the day, that there would literally be a barrel that if a Black person wanted to laugh, they had to put their head inside, because hearing joy from Black people in a world that was so steep with racism in America here, so if you're outside of the States, I'm talking about America specifically, they had to put their head into a barrel because they couldn't laugh out loud for free without consequences, punishment, pain, and abuse that would come their way. That's where the term a barrel of laughter comes from. So just our expression can be seen as something that is terrifying to Caucasian people. And her even saying like, oh, I'm lazy, even that is a trope of, that comes from Jim Crow and beyond and before, where it's like Black people don't work, which is ironic and hilarious, because weren't they the slaves that built the country? Anyway, I felt so many ways about that because it's something I've got to unfortunately experience and see to my face. Working in office spaces where these women were covertly, passive-aggressively evil and nasty to me. So nasty, but when I would call them out, because clearly I was not meant to sit in anybody's office, then I would literally have people sit me down and be like, that was very aggressive. And I wasn't cursing. I talked to people and I could cuss you out without saying a curse word. But I was just like, this is not fair, and I don't understand, because I didn't know how corporate America worked. I didn't know about playing the game. But I've had that happen to me. I've had it happen when I've been in a cult where someone in the cult was literally sicked on me to attack me, to berate me, to tell me how much I wasn't liked, to tell me how much they said if I would have ended up in a ditch, then that would have just been the fate that I would have had to accept, and they would have had to get over it. People would talk crazy to me. And then when I would do any level of defense, then they would be like, oh my God, she's accosting me. I would get approached by the higher ups in the cult. Janet's feelings are very hurt. The same Janet that just told me that I should be dead in a ditch and that y'all had a prayer meeting about it and said that if I stayed there, then that would have been God's fate for me because of my disobedience and my Blackness. I don't know. How make it make sense. Now that I've grown up and I live in the world, when that happens to me, the way that I run, girl, the way that I run, friend, I had it happen recently again, where I was dealing with my own ultimate Karen. someone who was being mean to me out of whatever jealousy, and I said jealousy is a word that's weird, but she attacked me about something that I knew she wasn't really mad about, but it also made it very clear to me how much she was cloaking herself in whatever she perceived as my misery, and she was doing it very covertly, meaning not all of her friends and family could see it or know about it. It was something she was doing directly to me, and it reminded me, what do I always say? The face has changed, but the behavior is the same. Of the girls in the office. It reminded me of the cult. It reminded me of people where I am the one where they literally come to me, and if I'm co-signing trying to be their friend, but if I'm out of my place, put your head in the barrel. How dare you laugh in open space? How dare you be passionate when you express yourself? How dare you do something that offends me? Your words are hurting me. The same words you used to attack me. I dealt with a situation that was laughable to me, because I was like, oh, I know what this is. And when I told that person, because anything I say here, I say there, and I said, wow, the last time this happened, and this usually happens with Caucasian women specifically, you attacked me. You were incredibly cruel and rude to me. It was calculated. You know, I wrote a response to her that was very fair. I said that was specifically done to impale me. And I said, had I not done therapy and cleaned up what it is that you wanted to attack, I could have really crumbled, and that was what you wanted to have happen. This is exactly how I talked to her. I wasn't loud or whatever, but to her it was accosting. To her it was mean. How dare I? And when I held her for accountability, I said, what did I do to trigger you when all I was doing was co-signing something you were complaining about? I was literally trying to be her, support, person, a friend, whatever. And she said, you didn't do anything. And then she apologized and told me she's never going to apologize to me in her life again. Whether she realized it or not, that also has to do with race disparity. How dare she be apologizing to me? Whether she realized what's in her. Sometimes people that are racist don't even realize, because she doesn't want to believe that that could be anything in her. But I really had to look at it and say, funny how I've accosted you when you were playing not only in my face, you were rude to my face. You talked to me, and I said, why? I said it to her in that moment, right then. No waiting 10 years, no sitting on it, no eating it. Very much like Simone, I addressed it pretty directly, pretty immediately. I think Simone might have waited until she had the gold in her hand, but she addressed it pretty immediately. It's not lost. They're called micro and macro aggressions, in case you want to know what that is, in case you want to study to make yourself approved. And it happens all the time. So in her mind, subconsciously, she was like, how dare you think that I'm going to apologize? She's like, I'm not apologizing to you repeatedly. I said, oh, excuse me, you just apologized to me once. And it took like about 24 hours of you having to like figure that out, when I would have apologized to you immediately and profusely and over again, because I would never want to hurt you. But she was indignant, and she was in her class system of, how dare I apologize to you? She was pissed because she meant what she said. That's another thing you guys need to understand. When people talk to you like this, and when they disrespect you, Robert Greene talks about it so beautifully. He expresses it so clearly. Someone that disrespects you will disrespect you again. Get away from them. Get away from them. Now you are not a friend. Now you're not my favorite, employer, employee, friend, lover, spouse, whatever category someone is. When they come slick out of their mouth to you, that's what they mean. Now, if you are a brown girl and it is a Caucasian woman, you have to move so carefully, because of all of the undertones that they may never want to take a look at, but it's there to see. It's very plain to see, but they don't know, because they've never dealt with a microaggression. They don't know what that looks like. They don't know what that feels like. But it reminded me of all the ones I've had before with people that I did have to ignore it with or survive. But in this case, no, my empath energy is here, and I'm in my power fully, and I'm alive. And I was like, oh, okay, well then, we're going to just dissipate this whole connection, but also you're going to look at this. And when I was holding to her to account, I'm like, this is not the first time you've done this, so don't act like you're so surprised. You've done this repeatedly. I just let it slide out of an abundance of my own love and codependency, truly, because I really respected this person. I really loved her. I just didn't expect this behavior from her, but she was slick with it for a long time, and I let it, and then I started to observe it. So now I'm taking notes. So now she can't get me out of my purpose or my no of what it is. So when she's trying to tell me I've accosted her, and she's trying to tell her friends and family that I've accosted her and my words are so hurtful, I said, did you tell them the hurtful words you said to me? Or did you just paint it as though me with my brown skin attacked you, the Caucasian? I mean, what happened? I said to her, what about me makes it okay for you to talk to me that way when your other friends that are Caucasian, you would never speak to that way? What is it about me that you would talk to me that way, but you would never say something egregious about someone's relationship, connection, or marriage to your friends that are also married, and you know their tea, but you would never spray them with their tea because it was talked about maybe confidentially, or maybe because you respect them and you don't respect me. Those were the words that were accosting to her. Those were the words that burned and sizzled through her soul. Those were the words where she wanted for me to now take the wheel back, like the Caucasian lady that was up against Simone, and be like, oh my goodness, absolve me and stop attacking me. Stop attacking you. You attacked me. You attacked me, and any girl here that's ever been through that, whether it's about color or not, if you've ever had someone trying to spin a narrative on you when you know that you literally did not go out of your way to be hurtful to someone, then absolve yourself of that. I felt no ways beyond disrespected, and now I have to clean this mess up. And when I was like, this is not the first time you've said this, this, and this is what she said to me. She said, I have Alzheimer's. It was the ultimate Karen checkmate. There was nothing that I could do after that, and she didn't want me to do anything. What she wanted me to do was shut the fuck up. That's what she wanted me to do. She wanted me to not question her. How dare I? Because just a few little years ago, she could have slapped me across the face. She could have whipped me if she wanted to. She could have put me in my place. And that's exactly what she tried to do with her words in this modern day. Right color, wrong year. It did not go that way. So I instead said, oh, you have Alzheimer's. Fantastic. This is something that now, and let me tell you about how diabolical that was. What she was saying is, I am in a position where I literally don't want you to question me. She does not have Alzheimer's or any lapses of memory. She is spiteful as fuck, and she purposely wanted to injure me and then wanted me to protect her from the words of my own self-protection. Make it make sense. It didn't make sense for Simone and them. It doesn't make sense for you if it's something you've been through. And it didn't make sense in my situation either. That Alzheimer's was her way of checkmating me into don't you ever question me again. And here's the thing. If we were really well connected and acquainted well and good friends or whatever, she would have come back to me later and said to me, you know what? I want to talk to you about how that happened, and I actually have been scared about this. We were very close, and so that's something she might have mentioned to me. It might have been something I've noticed. I actually am quite sensitive to it because my grandmother passed away from dementia, and my mother is getting up in age, and we're paying a lot of attention to her cognitive abilities and reasoning. So that's an actual sensitive subject to me. So even more so was it a Karen move that she would want to checkmate me with something that actually she knows that I really have dealt with up close and personal. And I thought, you don't like me at all. You actually despise me. And you despise that I've held you accountable. Or maybe you despise that behind your mask I did see. Upon my disembarkation, I said, your secret is safe with me, meaning I'm not going to tell her friends and family. I didn't say a word. I was like, okay, okay, this is good. I'll be. She said to me, I guess I'll be the villain in your story. And I thought, that's funny, because I guess we're going to play tag and switch, because for the last year, I've been the villain in your story as you've been thinking that you've been getting away with what you're doing and that I can't hear you and that I didn't know what was happening, but I did. And now you want me to make it stop because you felt away, and so you decided to be on the tack, and in my face you did play, but you did not understand with those words you will permanently stay, and with the stain and the patina of the ugliness that's underneath it, of what you really meant and how you really felt and how you wouldn't do that to someone else. Now let that be upon you. That's the mantle. I know it. No one else has to. She knows it. No one else has to. But the checkmate of Alzheimer's, it was, y'all, all you get after you've been through a toxic situation with somebody is your ability to tell the story. Kendrick says it best. It's my favorite line. Stop playing with me before I turn you to a song. I don't have any beautiful memories of that connection. I don't have anything because it all melts away when something like that happens, right? And it is that designed that way so that you can run for your life because that's a person that's very toxic. Now, I've worked in the office with them and I've been dealt with when the cult would send the people at me. And I've had friends and sometimes family. It's not always about race. But in the case when it is, specifically in the case when it is, that's something that is so... You know, I was talking to someone about it, and they said to me, that's on you. This is another person that is brown skin like me too. And she said, I've always felt that you were too comfortable and familiar in your relationships with Caucasian women. No offense to any of my Caucasian viewers, guys. My husband is Caucasian. Like, I'm just telling you guys, this is such a weird thing that's happened in my life. I've been often the ambassador for racists that were secretly racist, that said things to me like, I don't see color, or you're not like the others, or you're white, or whatever. They don't even realize the microaggressions, and I can't fight everyone. I've lived in the South, and in order to survive in the South, where people have literally threatened to hang me and kill me and have me from the first tree hanging and swinging by morning, or that they would gut me and spread my entrails throughout the mountain with their buck knife, I've had to figure out how to survive. But sometimes you're not in heightened danger to that degree. Sometimes it's just some insidious bullshit that is set before you, and you still have to set yourself free. That's not a person I can ever have around me. Because when I met her very specifically, I remember this and I'll never forget it. My angel said, and now you see the full circle of it. I was saying that my family members said I'm too comfortable with people that are Caucasian, because I always believe that there are good people in this world of all colors, and there are bad people in this world of all colors. And so I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. How you treat me is now how I will go about living my life in the future and dealing with it properly and dealing with it in a full reality. When I met her, she was under investigation because she was a supervisor in a certain degree, and she was being investigated for alleged racist things happening, where some women that were my skin color were accusing her of whatever in the office. And I so took up for her, and I literally put my human shield, my empath umbrella around her. And I am a big believer of, unless I see it for myself, I'm not going to judge. And I observed her behavior, and she felt beautiful, and she felt like an ally and whatever. And I literally had to put things on my altar and atone, because when she did me the way she did me, I said, yeah, even if her intention wasn't racist with those women, that's how they would perceive it because of their experience. And I did try to explain that to her as it was happening and as she was going through that. Like, you don't know what it is to have someone attack you, and you literally can't fight back. And if you say anything, then they say that you're accosting them. You've never had that. You've never been held to any level of accountability that way. There's a higher level of expectation, and there's a different politics that we are mandated to play, and we better play it a certain way. And so I try to help her understand the nuance. Very often I am embroiled in these conversations because people come to me. People will say, I was speeding, going 110, and I saw a person get pulled over who was doing 65, and I know for a fact he got pulled over because he was black and I'm white. I literally had an old high school friend reach out to me years into adulthood and say that. And he was beside himself. He was in tears. He was like, I never thought about your experience. This is back in the time when all the Black Lives Matter stuff was happening, so he was starting to awaken. But I was like, yeah, that's a very real thing. You didn't get pulled over, but he was profiled. Until you know what it is to be on the other side of that, you don't know what it is to be inside of that. You can write from the perspective of living this, but until you've lived it, you don't know what it is to have actually lived it. You can befriend someone who's living it, but until you're inside of it, you don't know actually what it is. And this could have been just a spat between friends, but with the dynamic of, I'm not apologizing to you again and again. Ma'am, I didn't ask for many apologies. I asked for one sincere one. I asked for real accountability. I asked for you to treat me with respect like you love me, allegedly, right? But because of all the other things, I had to do my own reasonable deduction and math and said, oh my God, I didn't realize this is where we're at. No matter what the outcome of that investigation was, what I saw was what they experienced. Someone who went out of their way to spite me, and it went on after. So it wasn't just that one moment. I was trying to clean it up. I was kind of in shock. And it went on after. I continued to allow myself to be around this person, thinking like, maybe the Alzheimer's is real, maybe whatever, right? I'm always going to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But no, she was telling me to shut my fucking mouth. Specifically. And I know that because upon talking to friends and family, they were telling me about how my words are so amazing and I'm very articulate and I'm very expressive, but the words can be hurtful. And I didn't hold whoever that messenger was accountable or hold a grudge to them at all. I knew that they were only repeating what was said by that person because she wanted to get ahead of it. Monette accosted me. Did you tell him how you cussed me out? How you talked down to me? How you disparaged my connections, my relationships, and everything about me? Did you tell him how you said it right to my face and was like gloating about it? Well, at least my just like that. I'm not exaggerating. You know what I don't do is lie. So I had to deal with that. And was like, I didn't realize that you were so happy about things that make me sad. Get those people the fuck away from you. They will always treat you bad and always want you down bad, whether it is about race or not. It could be your same exact color, your best friend. It could be your mama. It could be your person that was your favorite, work wife or husband. And they could be your exact race and color. But if they're talking to you about your misfortune and they're gloating about it, well, at least my okay, say less, sis. Now, remove your energy and allow life to teach them that they might be in that same position someday. That same position when they were playing with your face and playing in your face. And then wanting to say that you accosted them and that you were hurtful. Anybody, and I've had this happen, even with someone that I was seeing that is my same exact color. But your words, these words that protect me from your bullshit, your gaslighting, from your insidious, toxic behavior, from your duplicity. So it's not just about race, guys. I've also had to cut myself and set myself free from people that were the same kind of brown as me, but they thought that they could sit me down. In your words, that's your power, empath. Stop playing with me before I turn you to a song. Because at the end of any connection, and at the end of anything where someone has genuinely done you wrong, they might want to wish all the karma for you. That's not fair. That's what they're... Okay, is it? But maybe you might have been someone's karma, empath. That's what you need to understand. And maybe you actually were doing what was right. And maybe you weren't trying to be hateful. And you weren't playing with someone's life like my brown friend was playing with my life. And you weren't trying to checkmate me with false illnesses that I take very seriously. I lost so much respect instantly. All of the pedestals, all the places I had been, all the places we will go, right? On some Dr. Seuss. This was someone I no longer wanted to know because she reminded me of all the people that had gone before. It wasn't just a trigger. I wasn't reacting. I was exactly right. And I knew that for how her behavior continued to be in the subsequent months that I remained in her life until I finally said no more. I'm going to set myself free. You know what? I was channeling. The last time that I saw her, it was the movie Get Out. And it's when he's upstairs, if you've seen the movie, and they are all waiting to auction him off. And he doesn't know he's at an auction for his actual body parts. He was an artist, and an artist that was blind bid for him because he wanted his eyes. Spoiler alert, you should have seen the movie. You need to. It's a masterpiece. It's a great work of art. It's very much about micro and macro aggressions, that part. And it's a place that I've been very often because I am often that ambassador. I don't know why Jesus said this is your mission, okay? Even when I try to avoid it, I can't. I will have to be the person that is representation. So that's why I have to be excellent. People always wonder, like, what makes you, aren't you so extra and aren't you? No, I'm me. Because if I was any less of me, you would still talk about me like I was dirty. You would still talk about me like I was less than. You would still talk about me like I was so aggressive. I am powerful and I respect my power. And my power has broken other people free as a testament to the emails that come to me daily. So don't let people try to strip you from your voice. From the brown friend that was playing my face, oh, your words, the words that you don't know how to use, that you wish you could use, your communication skills are completely defunct and lacking. Or this other person who I had to also send packing because she tried it. And I don't negotiate with terrorists, nor do I ask too many questions. When I'm dealing with something, I'm like, okay, let me assess this. You face change, behavior same. If I start thinking of you as my ex-twin, or you're associated with the cult, which is how I was feeling about that woman, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's definitely time to go. I accosted you after you attacked me, and now you have Alzheimer's. Excellent, I see. Show yourself the door. You can do no more at that point with somebody. It was the ultimate checkmate. I've never been checkmated. It's got to be funny. That's why I say when someone tries you like that, all you can do is transmute it. I had to learn a lesson from it. I was like, well, damn. I thought we were better than this. I thought that this was not how this was going to go. But she was pissed at me. And that spitefulness boiled up. And I always tell you guys, it will seep out of your pores. And it cannot be ignored, and it won't be ignored. She was so angry at me that she wanted me to be floored. And then she wanted to tell her friends and family that it was me that was attacking her. That's not the truth. I never did. I was literally co-signing her, commiserating and complaining about a situation and a person in her life. And I was like, oh, friend, that's not right. You deserve better. Literally, that's what I said that caused her to try to cut off my neck. Queen of Swords energy, air sign energy. Well, what happens when you go into battle with someone who is of the sign, right? So I have battled with karmics that were scorpionic. Once I finished them on some Mortal Kombat shit, you then acquire their powers, very much like a video game. And so in that scary hour of someone playing in my face with micro and macro aggressions, I didn't know which, with ultimate disrespect, if it had nothing to do with color, let's give her all the benefits of the doubt. If it had nothing to do with color, then still, somehow, it was absolutely disrespectful, just human to human. I would never say something like that to her. Would I do it to her? I'd only ever try to uplift her, counsel her ad nauseum for hours about the same thing, the very same thing she was attacking me about. I had been a stand-in from the moment I met her. We've been only talking about that one subject. And I realized she likes it here. She likes the despair. She likes the misery. Year after year, she's not going to change it. So why am I wasting all of my energy only for her to attack me? And then say that I had attacked her. And the optics are what they are in the world that we live in, especially in America. That's an easy thing to paint me as the villain. It's so funny that she used that phraseology. I thought, yeah, I was a villain for the past year quietly when you thought you were getting away with acting like I wasn't showing up and I wasn't doing what I needed to do, but I was doing above and beyond for you. And now you'll notice that, now that I'm not going to do anything else for you. So no matter what it is, people, when they try to sun you or shut you down, and there's that, it's like dripping contempt, that's the words that I would use. You have to be so careful to not try to play nice, because they will further try to assassinate you, your character, and then you're the one looking like a dummy. I'm still here to be treated badly, and to have you have gossiped about me and done all the rest of it when all I've ever done was have your back. Well, then you don't deserve your back to be had, and that will be the last experience you have of that. Everything else can be as superficial or as non-fulfilling as you want it to be. You know, people often talk about, for a brown girl, our passion, but our passion is what makes us amazing. Actually, it makes us great friends, it makes us great lovers, it makes us great sisters and brothers, because we do everything fully and with gusto. And for some people that can be intimidating, and that's for them to figure out. You don't have to know. Back to the Armitages. They're trying to take his eyes at the auction. He doesn't know it yet. He walks upstairs and there's creaking, and as he moves, he doesn't know it, but downstairs, all of the people that are there waiting for him to be put up on the auction block, he's not on the auction block, but they do a silent auction for him, unbeknownst to him, excuse me, they all turn because they're watching his energy. My angels gave me a download, a flash of that, the last time that I saw this person. And they said, they're all paying attention to your every move because she has tried to villainize you. She's tried to villainize you. You're the villain in her story, which is fine. She's lucky. I'm in my villain era righteously. For people that deserve it, happily, I'll be the villain. But what I won't be is disrespected, and what I won't be doing is dealing with microaggressions. I left corporate America for that reason. So the way she treated me, I said, well, that's why these ladies said that you did what you did, because this is how you behave. This is how you behave when things aren't going your way. And because you're so sweet and so nice and so helpful, then in people's face you can play, not in my face. And if someone wants to shut you down, then let it be shut down permanently. Then no more advice, no more words, and no more nothing do you need from me. And now I despise you. Now let's flip that story. So, empath, you're allowed to feel your feelings. I'm sure that I'll work on it and I'll forgive and all the other things that we're always guided to do. But never, 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 never let someone fucking play with you. That part. So good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time. We'll continue to evolve together.